Welcome to it once again. This is Let's Look at It Once Again with me, JT Tebehadi. Of course, this is Focus Media SA. I'm so excited today that I have taken an intentional decision that I'm going to go and start on this very first time on this set, never done before. I'm going to start it with very young, very hungry, very oriented, very focused young woman who for some reason thinks that she's actually laid back. And I don't think she's laid back, and you're going to find out. I'm talking about none other than Nonelela Melissa NDZUBE. Welcome, madam.
Thank you so much, Dada. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored.
How's it going, by the way?
I'm very good. Tired as always, but I'm very good.
First thing that I figured that I'm going to start with is the fact that we're supposed to start this at a particular time, and you arrived close to a whole hour earlier.
Okay. I think because my life has always been a life of a schedule. Like,
all right.
I know what I'm supposed to do at this time.
All right.
Until this time and what's next and all of that. So I'm always aware of what I'm supposed to do and what time I'm supposed to do that.
So I'm going to give away her age. And the age is that 2019, she was Miss Teen SA.
Yeah.
That should give you an idea. That's just about all you're going to get from me. I'm not getting myself into trouble on my set. Now, Nonelena, tell me, there is a whole lot of, worry about time and time management. And that's why I needed to start here. Mm-hmm. Where does this thing of yours, begin with the time management and all of that? Because that for me it was not even going to be part of this set. But I just had to, insert it, because you can imagine I said that I'm intentionally starting with a young person.
Mm-hmm. I feel like first of all, I think being punctual goes with understanding that opportunities will not always be there.
Oh yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
I always say to abantwana that I train that be able to seize the opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I think if we as young people would get to that point, we would be very far, because things will always be there. So we relax and we chill and we waste time. And I think also understanding that when someone calls you and sets time apart for you, that should show you that you are important and that we don't really have time. But the mere fact that I need to meet you at this time, be punctual and respect that. It also goes with respect. So for me, it's those things. So I feel like it's very important to be on time because no one has time.
And earlier on, we were talking about your sense of an agency when it comes to time. And you said something about your mom, and I'm gonna allow you to rat out on your mother, because I think she ratted out on you on one of the segments that we did on this particular show. What does she have to do with you and the time?
My mom always makes me late, guys. People who know me will know.
Oh my word.
People who know me will know. And like people will talk to me on the phone. I'll always say, yo, mama is always making me late. I'm late because of her. Because she always makes me late. And I feel like my whole family has adopted to that. They will always make me late because I feel like they have this thing that, well, I don't want to say it's them, but I think that I will always have to take care of them first before I can go on with my schedule. So now they have this expectation that if I'm going somewhere, I need to make sure that they're good. Then I go. Now they don't understand, but sometimes I'm late. I don't have time to take care of them before I can go on with my schedule.
Have you talked to her about it?
Guys, like, speaking to her, like, guys, every black parent, that doesn't work. You will speak to her now, but she will do it anyway.
You gotta understand.
You
gotta understand.
And sometimes we forgive you guys before we even speak to you. We're like, okay, it's fine, I forgive you.
You're gonna try it anyway.
Because it's not like she does it intentionally.
Oh yeah.
You'd find that sometimes we have work that we need to do before I can actually get on with my personal work. So then that will overlap and then make me late.
All right. And I suppose that in your interaction, you talk about it.
Yeah. We actually speak about everything.
About everything. Because that's where I actually want to get to. Because I found your relationship with your mother. And that's why I'm so comfortable actually bringing it up. Because I know that this is you guys. I mean, you are like there, and you almost not even like mother and daughter, almost like he showed me like high school friends and stuff like that. And then you find that it's not very, very common that you find teenagers or young adults being that much close with their mother. Is it something that you guys, plan that this is how we're going to do it? Did it just, come about organically?
I think, first of all, it's having to understand that a relationship with a mother and daughter could never be perfect.
All right.
So we're not striving for perfection.
Oh, yes.
But we're striving to get to a level of understanding each other, being able to tolerate each other, because everyone has their own character and personality and all of that. So you need to be a person that is able to adjust and be able to tolerate Lamdu so that you may be able to live better. I think it draws from that, and also understanding that there's no one that carries my best interest more than her.
Oh, yeah.
And she also knows that there's no one that is there for her more than I am.
All right.
What
do you then say to this? You say, my mother always makes me late. This is me now. I think your mother was okay when you were at varsity. And when you came back, and I might be wrong, and you are here to speak for yourself.
Yes.
And then you came back, and your mother became an octopus. She was all over the place, and I actually feel I feel bad for her sometimes.
No, actually, no. When I was in varsity, she was actually not able to do it because she needed me. Our relationship started even before I went to varsity.
Okay.
It started because, remember, Ms. Tina was in matric.
Yes.
So we were always together. We were always already a team. Because what made me personally to open up in having the relationship with my mother, because that's another thing, guys, I didn't grow up and it was this. No. There was a point where I was like, it's just too much for me. Like, I just can't, We didn't have a relationship before. I feel like when she got sick, because she was sick for 2 full years, to a point where we knew, okay, now we're losing her. It's fine. We're preparing our hearts and all of that. I think it was in that moment when I was speaking to God that I think I need a second chance, because I feel like I haven't been where I want to be with her. And I think maybe this is a wake-up call for me as well, that I'm privileged to have a mother, and the fact that I'm able to be here with her shows me that I need a second chance indeed. So it was in that moment that I prayed to God and I was like, I actually need a second chance with her and I'll do things better, And so then she recovered and then we were in matric. I was in matric. I was doing Miss Teen. That's when we were like, okay, there's no time to play now. We're given a second chance. Let's build this relationship and let's be intentional about it. So yeah, it started then. Then when I went to varsity, she actually made me not to rest. So it's not the other way around.
All right.
Because almost every weekend, I was actually speaking about that. I was like, almost every weekend when I was in varsity, I would be here.
Oh my word.
I would be working.
Doing what exactly?
Because she had opened our Legacy in Arts, Modeling and Beauty Academy. It's my mom's academy.
Okay.
Then I am a co-founder and I'm there to help with the modeling.
All right.
Because it deals with modeling, dance, drama, content creation, podcast, all of that.
And that's a lot.
Exactly.
And you're dealing with young people.
Exactly. Oof. So I was then, I was forced to be here almost every weekend.
And did you not find that like creeping into your work now, the workload and everything like that?
No, I said that my life has always been
a life of a schedule.
So
time management.
Yeah. So I'm not used to not doing anything. I'm used to being packed. My day must be packed.
You're a workaholic.
I've always been used to that. Because even in school, I was involved in a lot of sports.
I'll tell you what. Your brother, one of the times I was looking at, one of the posts on Facebook, and your brother was saying, Mama, you are working too hard, you must take it easy.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was genuine about it. I mean, and he's very young.
Yeah, very.
Would you have felt the same kind of a sentiment that maybe she is working herself a little bit?
She is. I still do feel that way. She is. Okay. She is working herself.
You talk to her and what did she say?
I do talk to her, but I think sometimes you talk, but you can never get to a point of the conversation that a person had with God.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because when she gets to that point of understanding that she was given a second chance,
Oh, yeah.
then that's where I draw my line. I'm like, okay, then I understand.
All right.
Because I don't know what her argument with God was,
Yeah.
you know. So I feel like ever since she got sick, when she got a second chance, she knew that she doesn't have time to waste.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so for me, it's actually getting to understand that more than speaking her out of working, I need to step in.
All right.
You know,
Sort of like
so that she can see that the work is going on even if she takes time to rest.
I think that actually balances very well, because then you also had your own conversation with God about her recovery, and that actually became, you know, the reason why you felt we actually have to grow closer.
Yeah.
And then the Miss Teen Hudengeki that started, then that gave you guys a chance to actually team up and stuff like that. That's where it all started. Talk to us. The Miss Teen pageant. Whose idea was that for you to actually even go into the first place?
It was actually Unjati. Yes, Unjati, another lady from church.
All right.
So because I was into fashion,
All right.
I did fashion shows, a lot of fashion shows.
As in modeling?
Islam. Yes.
All right.
So, but I was into the runway side. I been in pageants before.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
So then Unjati saw the Miss Teen post and she was like, go for it. I'm like, what? Ooh, okay. So I showed my mom. My mom was like, okay, go for it. Like, I don't see anything wrong. And then I had to go to Cape Town because they didn't have auditions in the Eastern Cape.
All right.
I had to go to Cape Town for the auditions. I think more than anything, what made me enter Miss Teenager South Africa wasn't about the crown, but it was about the platform, and that it was about the opportunity. The fact that my voice will then be heard.
Okay.
You know, and I'll be able to speak on behalf of saved young girls, saved PKs, and more than that, show the Christian society that it's not only for people who are not saved in Dabai pageantry, because that's what I got in my journey.
Oh, yeah.
People didn't believe that it's what I'm supposed to be associated with as a saved young person or a saved PK.
Yeah.
So I was putting myself out there, showing people that I'm Queen Esther of today.
Have you actually gotten people actually, you know, whether by show with their action, their gesture, you know, that they do not approve because
they've said it.
They've said it.
Yeah, they've said it to me, to my parents. Yeah, I've dealt with that.
And in your position in that, did it ever sort of like strike some kind of a doubt in your head that should I go on with it, or
not at all?
You were just steadfast about
I
it.
think it's because I got to understand fully that I'm Queen Esther of today.
All right.
So that for me was enough. And I got to understand that if I want to put a word out there, then obviously the journey is not going to be smooth.
Basically, that's actually going against the grain, and that's the nature of going against the grain. How difficult was it? Now you have this, but then you also have the whole process is very rigorous of being a Miss anything for that matter.
Yeah.
You spoke about the fact that there wasn't an audition in the Eastern Cape, so you had to go to Cape Town and stuff. And I feel, and I may be wrong, and that's where you will come in, I feel that a lot of, you know, challenges that actually face in the process of running the race, a lot of the challenges that are facing young people are even more exacerbated when you are in the Eastern Cape. So you actually work like extra hard in order to.
Yeah.
Did you find that kind of a thing when you were preparing for this?
Definitely, I did. I found that, you know, sometimes it's very. I don't want to say it gets you to be in a disadvantaged state that you're coming from the Eastern Cape, but in a way you feel that way because these opportunities are not presented to.
But how can you not say that?
You know?
Because it's like others are already having the Oscar blades. Eh?
No, but the thing is, now it's better, to be quite honest. Now it's better. I don't think there would be a young girl or young child that aspires to be a Miss Teenager South Africa. Like there's no way. Because we made a way for them.
Oh, yes.
It is. Because after me auditioned, came to the Eastern Cape.
All right.
So now it's better.
Were you aware that actually this is not just about you? This is not about Noni. This you literally just carrying the dreams, the visions, and the faith of many other young people like yourself.
I think as the journey went on, I got to understand that because easy processes, right? I went for auditions. I got in as a semi-finalist. Came back. I worked. I did a lot of charity and all of that, and then went back to Cape Town for final rounds. Like they select, and then I got in as a finalist. That's when it hit me that actually I'm no longer doing this for me.
Okay.
Because so many young girls would send me messages on Instagram and on Facebook telling me that, you know what, you're an inspiration and all of that. And then I got to understand that I'm not only doing it for me, but also I'm carrying the generation to come, and I'm carrying people that want to be in the position that I'm in, you know? So I made it like my goal that from myself, things should change.
Oh, yeah.
There should be auditions coming to the Eastern Cape, because not everyone will have the opportunity of going to another province just to be a finalist, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like my work made it easy for me, because I didn't speak or advocate for that. I just worked.
You just did you.
Yeah, I just did me. I just worked and I just served the journey. Then after that, I saw that, okay, auditions and this thing. I'm like, oh, okay, wow, amazing.
Let's talk about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in this particular regard, that you just went to the process as yourself, but then there came a time when you were at some stage and these messages hit you.
Yeah.
That now, you know, you are giving us this kind of an inspiration that we can also do it. It's possible for us to actually reach out and, you know, grab our dreams and stuff like that. But through that process, did you not at some point, you know, feel like, well, I was charged up yesterday and next week I'm charged up, but then there comes a time when you say, is it really going to work out? A moment of doubt.
I feel like for me, I had a moment of doubt when I wasn't really receiving the kind of support that I needed from my very own province, being the only person in the Eastern Cape in that particular time. That was the moment of doubt, because I was like, well, I feel like if they could understand that I won't be winning this as Unonelela, but I'll be winning it as Eastern Cape.
The Eastern
you
Cape,
know?
Buffalo City to be
you
exact.
know?
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, that was that particular time where I felt that, no, do I really have to go through this? No, I don't. I can just focus on my studies, my matric, finish, you know, and just create my own stuff, you know. But it was also in that moment that I got to understand that it's not just for me. You know, let me continue so that it can be easier for abanye abantwana. If it means that I need to go through the hardship so that it gets easier for the next generation, then let it be so.
Yeah. You know, you remind me when you say this, and this is very, very close to my heart. It's very, very important, that, and it's a reality. You know, we call you our own.
Yeah.
When you stand on that pedestal and all the nations of the world are watching you and you're becoming this big person, then we want to own you. I remember the words that were said, rather harsh words that were said by Uzahara when it related to saying, now you calling me Uzahara Wenu. Where were you when I was struggling? This is actually the reality that, and I'm glad that you actually, you know, said this, because some of us are wondering, when we see you just, when it seems like you're just going like a hot knife through butter, because where we're standing, we don't know behind the curtains, we don't know behind the scenes, we don't know the challenges that you're having to deal with. So we're looking at you and you're not saying anything. We feel when you come back, well, you are our own, and when you are our own, when we call you to come and motivate our kids, you must just, you know, oblige and come and motivate our. Do you find that that kind of an attitude, and that speaks for all of us, myself included in the province, that kind of an attitude has, you know, in a way almost dampened your willingness to actually do this and say, I'm doing it for a proud Eastern Cape, proud Buffalo City girl?
For me personally, no, it hasn't.
All right.
You know why? Because I feel like I'm just a different child, to be quite honest. I understand that my strength, my everything, inspiration does not even come from people that I live with. It comes from the Lord himself. So for me personally, it's understanding that whatever I do is within the calling and the purpose. So God will provide. If how, I don't know. But however, it does get to be a barrier for other kids, you know, because not everyone is going to be like me. Not everyone is born into a space where they understand, this is me, this is my calling, therefore I run with it. If how things will go into place, I don't know. But it gets to be something that kills their dreams, because then if they're not supported by their own province, what's the point of raising the flag of the Eastern Cape?
We go fast forward. You grab that, that trophy. You take that title. Did things change with regards to you now being visible as this beacon of hope for the province and for the municipality? OMG.
Yes, post went around that our very own nan. But it was all post.
It was all post.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Because after all, you almost said, when you said, well, these things really did not really, affect me in a negative way because I'm this kind of a person who takes them. I almost thought, but then you are a human being at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And these things, in a way, they will differ in how they affect you, as opposed to when it affects another person.
Yeah.
How do you then deal with that to say, do you just say, okay, fine, it's done, let's just do it, and then you enjoy that?
Personally, well, I was kind of, I'm just supposed to guys, I'm a person, I was mad. I'm like, why are you guys owning me whereas you're not even there, I was like, where were you when I was trying to get like funding to do whatever that I needed to do, and I was like, I'm just done with people. Like at that point, that's when I took the decision, but you know what, I'm actually done with people. Stay in your positions, leave me as I am, I'll figure my way out. It's okay, because there is no point of me putting my hope on like whomever.
Yeah.
And I think it got me to understand that even the word says so.
Yeah.
Let's just put our trust in the Lord.
In the Lord.
Yeah, but so I just came back and I saw people, claiming me, and I'm like, okay.
All right.
Now you guys are claiming me.
Okay.
Sharp. Now I'm being called left, right, and center to speak for interviews, for this, for that. I'm like, okay, so you guys are doing this for your own benefit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're calling me because you're calling me. You're calling me because now.
Because I'm running a venture.
And
for you to be there is going to actually increase the profile, the value of my venture.
Exactly.
And I find this one of the conversations that we actually should be looking at it, another way to begin to say, because I have reason to believe, this is the funniest thing that I've actually said it almost everywhere I find myself talking. And I would always say, it's amazing just how much talent is in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
You go to Joburg and every other place and look at people that are actually movers and shakers and people that are changing the course of, what things are done out there. They're coming from the Eastern Cape.
True.
And you actually become, your fullest self once you get out of the province.
I was actually speaking about that when I was speaking at the Department of Treasury during the Women's Month.
Yes.
They asked me to be a speaker. I was speaking about the fact that our province limits growth. Like, you grow to a certain extent, and then they don't want you to go higher, and they would rather spend money on calling people outside the province than to invest in the same talent that we have here. And then I said that to be able to grow, step out of this province, allow them to demand you back.
And I'll tell you what I actually find very like agitating in what you're saying. Literally, it's just a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
I was talking to a young man who's telling me whatever that he's telling me, and he wants to go to study. He wants to go to study, Western Cape and all of that. And I had to bring him down to say that, look, with that challenge that you're having, there are many ways that you can tackle that. But here's the thing. In the meantime, before that thing is sorted out, just take time out to get out of Eastern Cape, just to get out of the East, even if it's not to do anything, just to go out, because sometimes you need to get out to just realize just what is in there. And I'm going to take it back to say, and I've not said this on any show, on any set, but I'm going to say it the first time because you just provoked me right into it. I'm from Gauteng. I left Gauteng, came to study in the Eastern Cape, and I found that there was so much, literally so much untapped of everything. Like potentially, it makes you dizzy.
Yeah.
When I went back and I said, look, I don't want to go back to the province because there's so much potential for growth when you are in the province, in the Eastern Cape. But I found that there is some kind of a reluctance to actually invest in the talent, the potential that is in the province. But you will invest in it, of course, once the world had started investing and they have made their talent to become big. Then you will invest in them to bring them into so that they can actually do other PR work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you find that at this stage and time, we would actually stand a better chance as a province to really change even the course of South Africa as a province if these matters could actually be dealt with and dealt with directly? And how should we go about dealing with those?
100%. I feel like Nyani, we would be able to change a lot if we as the province, because to be quite honest, like you said, people, when you go to like Joburg and stuff, people who make it out there, like people who are big there, they're actually coming from the Eastern Cape, you know? Yeah. And I feel like the talent is here, but we just need the right people at the right offices.
You are currently busy with young people.
Yes.
You are currently busy with young people to actually reproduce yourself. Yeah. Now, that's what I call a leader. Yeah. Tell me about what it is that you're doing in Bisho, King Williamstown, Buffalo City in particular.
Okay. So I am the co-founder of Our Legacy in Arts, Modeling and Beauty Academy. So Payana, I train young girls. We actually start from 6 years up until 25.
You train them what?
Yeah, modeling.
Modeling, 6 years?
Yeah.
And they understand?
Yes.
Just like, how do you do that? With shapes? Draw some shapes and coloring?
They actually understand. I teach them modeling. I teach them inner beauty. I focus on confidence. I focus on reviving the inner person, because I feel like if you want to be confident, it has to start from within. Whatever we see outside is the fruit of whatever you have inside, you know? So it's all about that. And then I have Miss King Williamstown. Payana, it's from 16 years to 25. So Bona, it's more of being harsh on understanding that you're a brand and focusing on building your brand, understanding the things that are for you and the things that are not for you. Understanding that as a brand, you need to be aware of your people, the influence that you allow into your space, like brand alignment and all of that. Basically trying to steal their time from having so much time that the devil could implement certain ideas. So investing their time into things that will build them.
Our legacy. And you're doing crazy things like these, like 6-year-olds starting to, model, and you start to talk about heck. Do you think that is a lot of stuff to take in about being,
It's actually not. You know why? Because the world gives them as it is. But it means in the that they know. So if we're going to be lenient about giving them what is right for them, then we will be failing them.
Bible says, teach a child in the way they should grow. For when they grow old, they will not depart from it.
Exactly.
Love that. I love that. Now you're putting that word into practice. Yeah. And what kind, because like Bisho, King Williamstown, those surrounding areas are very nice and vast. How do you control the influx? I remember one of the times I saw what you guys were doing at Steve Biko, and I was like, you got to have some grace to pull this off.
Okay, so we do open registrations, but like we have a period. Right. So after that, we don't take any.
Oh,
yes. It's register until this time, and then after that, the school calendar goes on. So it's like that. We register, we open registrations from December, literally late December, until early January. We open registrations. Then after that, we run with the program, because we have a full year calendar.
That's very important. I'll tell you why I'm saying it's important. You're talking about things like understanding your brand, and I want to talk about, you as a brand later on. But for now, this sounds like a very important thing, and I'll tell you why it is so important. We have in the schools around the areas that you're actually catering for. There's a thing called life orientation.
Yes.
And I think for the longest time that has been an ear sore to say, what exactly is life orientation? Are there any, tangible targets that life orientation, is actually giving out to them? I know at some point I attended one of the career development days and exhibitions and stuff like that, and I heard that from the higher institutions of learning, it's not really considered that much. This life orientation. So there's no literally solid structure to it, because the idea is awesome. The idea is awesome, but it's not delivering. And that's where now you come in. You're actually dealing with the things that, in my opinion, in my view, life orientation is not dealing with. Do you think that you are delivering, or that message is actually understood by the parents? Because I believe that you have to deal with the parents before the kids come to the program.
Definitely. If there's anything, the support that we're getting from our parents is amazing, because they get to understand. I think the work plays its role, because then they see Abandona Baba and they be like, yay, whatever you guys are doing, continue, The report that we get from schools will be like, whatever you as this academy are doing, continue. We get referrals from schools. We get parents who would call us saying, Bana, a teacher from grade 3 said I should actually refer my kid to whatever you guys are doing.
Wow.
You know, churches, in the kiddies' churches, our kids are always the ones that present whatever that needs to be presented because they're confident, because everything that we're doing, it shows. Yeah, well, so I think more than anything, the feedback we get from parents, the feedback we get from schools and churches, they keep us running.
All right. There has to be a lot of investment in terms of time.
Yes.
There has to be a lot of investment in terms of resources.
Yes.
I don't want to start it.
Don't.
I think it's good that you guys started it. We just need to support what you already are doing. It's easier to support.
Yeah.
What kind of resource and time investment does this thing actually cost?
We meet the kids 2 times a month.
All right.
So the first Saturday of the month and the last Saturday of the month. Because at the same time, we prioritize education. So we understand good to Konama Saturday classes and all of that. So they need to be focused on that. And also the sports that they take in school. Sometimes they play matches on Saturdays. So we can't want their entire time. So it's the first Saturday of the month and the last Saturday of the month. But then
So you need time, yet you need to respect the fact that a lot of the time is already taken somewhere.
Yes. And then we also need to understand that we then get to do the admin work, like a Monday to a Friday, every day. We get to work on the academy, because I remember I was saying this to this one girl, I think it was on TikTok or something. I mentioned that if you want your brand or NGO, whatever it is, to grow, you need to treat it as a business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you need to treat it as a business so that it can grow and that it can make the impact that it has to.
And that's what I said we're going to talk about brand later on. And I guess this is as good a time. Now that you've made mention of it, let's talk about this brand. Brand as a general term, let's put it aside. But you say something about the person, understanding that you are a brand. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so let me talk about myself. Unanelela understood that she is a brand when she was 16. I think the term brand is to actually make people aware that the minute you say brand, you are speaking about something valuable. You know, that if you start building a brand, you need to maintain it. You can't just build and then let it run. You need to maintain. And by maintaining, then it means be mindful of the people you allow into your space. Be mindful of the influence you allow into your life.
Oh, yes.
Be mindful of where you go. Be mindful of how you dress, how you speak, all of those things. Be able to narrow down your brand. Okay, so I'm a brand because this is who I am. Therefore, as a young saved person, I shouldn't align myself with certain things because I still need to see my brand growing. You know, as much as I'm an influencer or as much as I'm a model, therefore I'm a different model because this is who I am, narrowing it down. So in the modeling space, there are certain things that you'll not find me doing.
I'm going to ask you this question. Whilst we're here, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you a second question after this. The first question is, when you looked up at, you know, your Miss essays and your whatnot, all these pageants, people that have actually made, you know, a mark in this space. It might not even be in the pageancy and all of that.
Yeah, because it's not.
Who did you, oh yes, yeah, I'm glad I said that because I felt that you want to say that. Who did you look up to and what about that person, you know?
Okay, so my mom knows. Okay. She will say, hey, there's Kisan. I don't really find that I look up to a specific person. Because when I speak about myself, I always say I'm an inspirational speaker, right? Because I draw my inspiration from God, no one else, you know? And I think I've just gotten to a point of being vulnerable to God that do whatever you want to do with my life.
I think that there are times when you speak like that, it sounds like that's pride speaking. And I'm saying it's good for me to say that because there comes a time when you feel like, actually, I'm not saying this for people to hear, that I'm not necessarily trying to look for someone to look up to and be like, but you're sharing that as a form of empowerment to say that, look, when the extrinsic motivation supersedes the intrinsic motivation, then the minute whoever that you're looking up to messes up and they fall, what have you got holding on to? And you cannot say, well, I'm like this because so and so fell. I'm like, you got to take responsibility about your life. And I needed to ask you this question. Like, that's why I'm saying it's like throwing you a nuke, because it's amazing how consistent you are in terms of understanding the things that you are saying. It's not just about eloquence, but it's about the structure and the substance of the structure that you're bringing across. I find it very different. I hardly ever find people at your age, young people at your age, being that consistent about what intention means outside of the cliche that you find on social media platforms. And that's one of the things that I actually would like to talk about, the importance thereof, because that is closely attached to the whole issue of brand and brand management. And so you have been doing yourself and not looking at up to anyone to be like.
But you do draw, like, you do take a few things from certain people. You know?
Right, yes.
Like, that's what I always say to Abandu. Even when I look up to you, I'm like, no, take the things that you need from me.
Yeah.
And then run with it.
Yeah.
Don't look up to me. Yes, you may take a few things that you feel good, I'm excelling in, to better yourself, you know? Because there are people that are doing good in different industries. And then I would find, okay, you know what? I can actually take this from this person. Yeah. And then I run with that, you know? So I'm that person. It's not like I have this specific person that I idolize, I look up to this person. No. I take a few things from a few people to better myself.
Because ultimately no one can be perfect.
Exactly.
And that's where you find people struggling with it. Wow, I'm so disappointed in her. Like, you were literally holding the core of their world, and so therefore you cannot, you know, be yourself and just wake up with some baggy, you know, jeans sometime. And I think your own person actually personifies that. You're not always like this.
I'm not.
You're not always like this, but I appreciate the fact that you actually did that out of the respect for this platform and how you wanted to, and it goes right back into the issue of brand and brand management.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, and I'm sure we're now drawing to a close. What kind of, do you think, input would actually, that is not made at this moment, that would actually make a world of difference in what you're already doing with our legacy?
One thing, when I say one thing, I know that this one thing will open more things, right? It's getting a platform to be heard by the right people. Honestly, I feel like if we could get the right people to hear the concept and think about the impact that it does to abanye abantwana that are in the academy, then that will be able to open everything else that we need. Because I can never be able to list everything that we need in the academy at the moment, you know. So if we could get the right ears to listen.
As you speak right now, I'm thinking that it actually needs for one to actually sort of like have a close interaction with the program itself, to see what it is that you guys are doing and to what extent that program is actually beginning to change lives in advance, beginning to address the problems of the future now.
Because I mean, we even deal with kids with living with autism.
Oh yeah.
You know, and in the Eastern Cape, there's no room for that.
It's very.
So when we opened that and Abazali saw that their kids are welcomed, it's one of the things that they thank us for. So that's why I'm saying that if we could get the right ears to listen, then everything else will fall into place.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the right ears will listen, because it's just a matter of time. I mean, you'll have like 100,000 people listening for the purposes of just knowing, just curiosity, knowing what you guys are doing, what you're up to, what are the pros and cons, but that's about it. After that, they go their way. But for the same reason why it had to be you, for the same reason that I've spoken to your mother, and I was so beside myself to say the kind of things that you guys are involved in, they are not, and I'm going to be a bit controversial in this one, they are not content stuff. They're not content in that sense. But they're the kind of things that we need to see more often. We need to hear those testimonies more often. We need to know that there is hope, because when you're looking outside here, there is not a lot of hope going on out there. And I'm sure you are busy with some stuff right now, Noni. Before I let you go, I want to know, what are you up to in the next coming months or years or so?
Well, next year, around March, I'll be launching my book.
Next year, around
Yeah.
March. That's like
in
a couple
few
of months from now.
Yeah.
Your book. Where did you get the time to write the book? It's not the chat GP thing.
I was writing the book the entire year, actually. I've been writing the whole year.
Do you want
I'm
to tell
done
us
with
what
it
the
now.
book is? You done with it?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what the book is about?
The title is I Am What I Choose to Become.
Ooh. Where did that come from? Geez, like that's a punchy one.
It came from, funny thing is that the title of the book, I actually got it from a topic that my mom gave me that I'm going to speak about, high tea. She said, this is your topic. And I was like, actually, this is the title of my book.
This is it.
Yeah. So I Am What I Choose to Become. It tackles identity, tackles foundations, it tackles untold truth. And I believe that as young people, we need to understand that there's always a choice. You can't say, I've done this because there was a choice.
There's always a choice.
There's always a choice. You choose to ignore your identity. You choose to build your identity.
And the choice goes with the price, of course.
Exactly.
You know, there are, pay now kind of prices. There are pay later type of prices to pay, and that all goes into the choice.
I mean, we didn't become like this. We chose to be who we are.
OMG.
So I am what I choose to become, and it's all about purity. It's all about royalty. It's all about finding your voice, finding your identity, building yourself on a firm foundation, tackling the untold stuff.
I know it's going to sound like you've already answered this question, but I just want to zoom into it. One of the things that have actually frustrated me for the longest time is your peers, your contemporaries. When you see you guys on TikTok, you do everything else. You do all the dance challenges and everything like that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And here you are telling me all the boring stuff for young people. You made a choice to be boring?
I'm not boring.
Are you not bored?
No, I'm not boring. I feel like I'm not.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
I feel like I'm not. But I think I'm just, maybe I'm an old soul because I believe that I don't have time to be sugarcoating things that are not meant to be sugarcoated. And
I think that's the biggest problem that we have right now. We actually you said something about being intentional about things and the choices. You know, the title of your book saying that I am who I choose to be.
Yeah.
And I find that, and I don't know if you're dealing with this, but I find that your power becomes, what it's supposed to be once you take it.
True.
And own it.
True.
And say, this is my life. I control it.
Yeah.
I choose how it goes, where it goes, in spite and despite the surroundings. And you coming from the place that we all know, and here you are speaking the way you do. Now I want you to sort of like give us a challenge. Okay. I'd like for you to give us a challenge. If there's anything that Buffalo City, before we even go to the province, if there's anything that Buffalo City can do, and you only get one chance for Buffalo City to do for you as our legacy, what would it be? Now I feel like we're on a game show.
You know what? In my mind, let me not disappoint my mother at this point.
Okay.
One thing that Buffalo City could do, provide resources. Honestly, we need resources as the academy to be up and running. We need resources.
What kind of resources would you
Stuff for drama.
All right.
We need a place even, upper East London. We need equipments for podcasts because kids are very much interested in that. We do have, but we need proper.
Lastly, and this is a very, very last one on this one. You are also involved in somehow Mrs.
Yes.
It actually almost sounds like a tongue twister for me to say Mrs. Like I'm saying it wrong. Mrs.
Yes, Mrs. BCM.
Mrs. BCM. How did that even come about?
It's my mom's initiative.
Oh yeah?
She is the founder.
What's your part in it?
You
are a miss.
I always coordinate my mom's stuff. I'll always be there for her. Whatever
right.
she does, where she likes, I'm there. I stay.
So let's take your mother out of the picture, and we're going to take the BCM, the what do you call it,
Mrs. BCM.
out.
So I'm a coordinator of Mrs. BCM.
Right.
I run like the program as well. So I'm always there for abazali. I always call them abazali, and it's always weird because I'm used to abantwana. So now it's Mrs. BCM. Right. I got to understand that there's actually a lot that parents don't know. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually a lot that people
don't know.
You know, because sometimes you think that a particular sector of society would not know this thing, so this one would know.
Yeah.
And you get there, you get a shock of your life that actually this is a thing across the board.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
even in them, I find myself having to like build their confidence. I'm like, am I supposed to be doing that? Like, I feel like Nibatala supposed to, but
can I say, as a representative of Abantu Abadala, we need a lot of that.
Yeah, like for me, I think it's because I was not exposed to that at first. I was only exposed to omis, like abandwana and stuff. Yes. So now that I'm in the journey with Abadala, I get to understand that actually even parents need a lot of workshops and they need a lot of reviving the inner person, you know. And they also need a lot of finding their identity and their brand.
All right, believe you me, that's very true.
Yeah, they don't, you know. So yeah, in this platform, I got to understand that, but it's just for everyone. But
all right.
Yeah.
You are a motivational speaker.
Inspirational speaker.
Inspirational speaker. It's good that you corrected me. Inspirational speaker. I'm already inspired as it is. and I'm sure you do a lot of other things as well. How do people get the hold of you? Because I have reason to believe, and I know for a fact that you're going to be here again.
Okay.
I know for a fact that you're going to be here again. Time is just never enough when you deal with these kind of things, because I have reason to believe that it's one thing to speak about something from a theoretical point of view, but to actually meet a person who says, this is a person that I can actually touch, that is actually doing this, that is actually living by this, and it's working. Do you have time for yourself out of all of these things? Your mom's things and all that, and then your family is making you late because you have to take care of them, and now you're busy with more misses and, you know, ramping up the confidence and everything. Kappa, you have the kids and
Kappa, I have my personal life, because I mean,
next
weekend I'm out of province, Jay, already.
You said that.
For an Amazon leadership. So I have my personal stuff as well. I try to make time, hey?
Oh, jeez. Jeez, dude. Look, there's no time better than the now. Because you have the energy right now, you have the opportunities right now, and you make it happen for yourself. And so people get the hold of you. How do they do that?
So you can... I feel like I do respond to everyone on my socials. So if you want to be that person, but okay, I want to DM her on Instagram, I am available. Melissa_NDZUBE, Facebook Melissa NDZUBE, TikTok Melissa NDZUBE. However, you can also contact this number 067 002 9429. Ladies
and gentlemen, there you go. That is known as Lela NDZUBE. Melissa, she is such a powerhouse. The details are on the screen as I'm talking to you right now. I don't know why we would not want to get the hold of her to actually do the only thing that she knows best, and that is just to ooze with energy. And in fact, I actually feel motivated right about here. Noni, thank you ever so much, dear.
Thank you so much, Tata.
It was such a pleasure to have you.
It was nice.
Ooh, girl. All right, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't you forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so. But if you have, thank you ever so much. And for every single one of you that are out there, please do make sure that you share this particular broadcast. And in the meantime, remember, you are who you choose to be. God bless.